selling a $5 million product online.
Why have one home when you can have 5?
I didn't know enough about this. This is cool. So is it like a timeshare in a way?
I'm a believer in social, and I think social has a role to play in the journey, but it has to be done right.
Can't confirm.
But you cannot confirm
I
or
can't confirm or
deny.
deny.
Cannot confirm or
Let's
deny.
just talk
I'm
about
just
it in the
going to
wider
blink
context.
twice.
So, welcome to the podcast. Oh, yeah, I need to start with everyone. Make sure you hit follow. We always forget that. Welcome to Digital Cheesecake. So, Deyana, you've got a huge background, I guess, in like hotels, hospitality, real estate, which I love. We want to hear all about it. So, for those listening, I kind of want to hear about how'd you get to where you are now, and like you're at August, and how you kind of started your career. That would be really cool. And then we can obviously go through all the hooky questions. But tell us, go for it.
Thank you for having me, first of all.
Welcome.
Sorry. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, it's been a long journey nowadays. When I start talking about my journey, I kind of feel a little bit old at this point. Just thinking, wow, we're talking 17 years back now. But yeah, so I actually started my journey in travel from pretty much day one after I graduated. I actually studied travel and commerce, which is very weird. I work what I studied, shocker.
Yeah, that happens. So that's
I
a nice
know.
one.
That's true. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
I've always been obsessed with the travel industry,
Yeah.
the hospitality
Pretty good industry.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's fun. So I started back in the day when I moved to London. I started working with eBay Enterprise and British Airways.
Cool.
Ages ago now.
God.
I know. And it was just an amazing time, and it really kickstarted my career.
Cool.
I had an amazing boss, mentor, who I would probably mention forever in my life.
That's lucky.
Yeah, very, very lucky. And I think I was very lucky that she spotted, I guess, whatever talent she saw in me, and she really encouraged it for me to develop my leadership skills and so on. So I was 27 when I started manage my first team of 12 people, which was,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big team for your
I
first
know.
team.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh gosh. But you know what? Youth is beautiful because you don't
I
have
love
these
that you said that.
I love
Youth is
that.
beautiful.
That's the name of the
exactly.
podcast now.
Oh, it
Youth
really is.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Love it.
Please rebrand.
Reach out.
Yeah, but so this is where it all kind of started, and then I continued into hospitality. I went into Hilton Worldwide,
Cool.
then Dorchester Collection, and then the Travel Corporation, where I work with a number of their brands, so Contiki, Trafalgar.
Yeah, we
Inside
obviously want to talk about
Vacation.
Contiki.
Yes, absolutely, and Luxury Gold. And now
Luxury Gold.
Yes, they do have a small like luxury brand that's called that.
Yeah, cool.
And now I'm with August. So
Okay.
my final career expression, let's call it that.
Yeah.
So totally different. Tell me a little bit about, like, for some people they probably want to hear is it good to go into the big corporate, like, you know, Hilton vibe, and what was that like versus now you're in August, it's like that really premium luxury boutique space. So what do you think's better? What do you love more? And obviously you're August, so you can't say anything. So you love them.
I adore
Yeah.
August.
Yes.
It's amazing.
I mean, that is cool.
Exactly.
But what did you think, I guess, even from the like Hilton vibes?
Yeah.
For someone that's even like starting as a junior in marketing team, maybe, you know, what was it like?
You know, it's really interesting because I do reflect on that a lot. There is quite a big difference between going into like a huge company, a corporate like a Hilton, or, you know, working on British Airways and things like. I love the fact that they taught me process and
I agree.
and understanding what it means when you have a brand to safeguard it. Because I think when you go into some of the smaller brands, they're on that journey. And I think in the beginning, it's always fun and games and you're kind of reinventing yourself and so on. But at some point, you kind of need to stop and be like, this is who we are.
Totally agree.
And then you just stick to it. And I'll just tell you a funny story now. But British Airways, for example, when we used to do their email campaigns and so on, like we had to like do quality assurance on every single minute detail when it was like the executive club, and especially, you know, like,
I bet.
and you could not have, for example, British Airways spelled on 2 separate lines.
Yeah.
Because this is the brand. The brand is British
Yes.
Airways, and
Yeah.
it stays together, right? Like it's such a small detail, but it makes a difference.
They're consistent.
Exactly.
Totally.
And it just shows you that minute attention to every single detail that happens in these huge brands and why they are where they are.
I think that's awesome,
makes
right?
sense.
Like when I was working in, similar hotels in one sense, but the corporate side of just learning the process. Like you learn the systems, you learn all that kind of stuff, which is great foundations, and then you get thrown into like what you're doing now, which is also, though, you said you're loving it. So tell us a bit more about August.
Well, I think, so you get that aspect from the big corporates, and then I think in your career, as you move forward, you kind of switch to also trying to work with brands where you can, I guess, not teach, but in a sense like share that experience and help them go on that journey, right? Because this is where with August, I mean, it's an amazing brand. It's so innovative in what it does. It's still a young brand. So, you know, going there and helping them on the journey with some of the like more corporate side of things, like with the process, the way of thinking, I think it's a beautiful journey as well to go on to, because I genuinely enjoy that. I enjoy taking something and morphing it into something slightly more structured when it isn't. So,
So, and I could get this wrong, but what is it like selling a $5 million product online? Just for everyone listening. So August is, I mean, you can tell us a little bit, but it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a luxury, essentially, real estate, and you're selling properties.
So it's a co-ownership model. So practically we sell shares in a collection of homes.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just one home. You always buy into a collection of homes.
Oh, that's really cool.
In Europe. Yeah, and we have some amazing destinations. So you have all the like most sought after destinations in Europe, right? You have the cities like London, Paris, Rome, and then you have like the south of France in terms of Cannes and like some of the beautiful villages along the coast, Mallorca, you know, Tuscany and so on. So it's a really good mix of depending on what you love. And the whole concept is like, why have one home when you can have 5, right? And just
I love this. That
homes.
sounds so good. I agree. Let's do it. Well, how much does it cost?
Well, actually, when you think about the cost, like some of the starting prices, it actually does work out better because, you know, it would still cost you quite a lot of money to purchase your own holiday home.
Yeah.
And then you have all the maintenance and all these things. While, you know, with August, you get all of that.
I didn't know enough about this. This is cool. So is it like a timeshare in a way?
Yeah,
Do not say timeshare in August together.
Sorry. Tell me the difference.
I think it's fair, but we don't, you know, compare ourselves to timeshare. No, it's absolutely fine. No, it's a very fair question. But the difference is that you actually own the equity. So you own the share in the home. So for example, if you decide to exit one day, you can actually sell your share. And for example, if property prices have grown and so on, you know, you make a profit. You make a profit, right?
This is so smart.
It is really smart, and it's a really cool and interesting model. There are very few companies in the world doing that, so it's quite innovative as well. So this is why I have found it very interesting to work with them.
It's very unique. Like if you look at the competitors, there's only a handful, but you guys are
the branding is beautiful,
lovely, and all the interiors is amazing, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
I know. We were looking at it. We're like, we need to shoot a podcast there. One day.
Well, let's talk about that. I'm sure we can sort something out.
So how do you sell a $5 million, I say £1 budget, or what are your kind of marketing mixes when you think about it?
Well, it's definitely a different journey than anything I've done before, because doing a travel product, let's call it that, in the past, it's even when it has been expensive, it has been something that you can click, convert, and you know, you can kind of get to that journey. With August, this is not a possible journey really. So a lot of what we do is get that interest online, spark the interest through the beautiful imagery, the beautiful storytelling, and so on. And everything is then one-to-one personalized. We don't really have mass campaigns because, to your point, nobody's going to click and collect on a $5 million home, right? Like, it just, you know, doesn't work.
What's the shortest purchase journey then?
We've had some really, really short ones. So I think if you're in the market, or if you have kind of followed the model, you've been interested for a while, I think some people do get on the journey for some time, but then when they decide, it can be like 30 days.
Yeah. So is it lead gen more so than anything?
It is more lead gen. Yeah. It's just finding the right people through the right channels, and
what would you say the channels are?
Don't
give us your secret.
Tell us the secrets. No, I mean, I think it's a good mix. I would not say that one channel works. For me, this is a real kind of 360 exercise together with, you know, the marketing team that does some more of the brand and offline marketing. I just think that for, you know, luxury products in general, or services, whatever you want to look at, it's always a combination. You can't rely on one channel in isolation.
And what do you find that people are calling more and wanting to still speak to someone human element? Because everyone's like, oh, where's an AI element? And you can add to it. But, you know, do you find that they still email, or they'll probably actually call and want to chat for a while?
I mean, with us, it's even they want to meet us.
Yeah,
right? Like they want
of
that
course.
face-to-face interaction, because again, I mean, it's a huge purchase. Also, it's a practical but an emotional purchase as well. I think purchasing your home or your holiday homes, right? It's one of the most personal things you can do. You're committing to something really big in your life, so it is a journey. So for us, it's I mean, it starts online, it always finishes offline, and with quite a lot of face-to-face and phone conversations.
I was going to say, because I know that all of the channels are equally important, but I think but I know, like, from knowing you, the sort of storytelling and the brand side has always been like a big love of yours, I would say. And I think didn't you have your own sort of Instagram channel?
I did.
So you love that aspect. So I feel like with August, isn't that something that you can definitely pull through from your kind of travel experience, as well as that storytelling, the brand side of things? And
absolutely. And I think with travel and in general with lifestyle brands, you have to tell the story. It's just not going to work if the story isn't there, it isn't consistent, the look and feel isn't there, right? Like it's the best kind of mix to play with. And I think with August, we're probably in the infancy of that journey. I think to my earlier comment, it's a younger brand, so they've experimented a lot in terms of what is that positioning, what is the story we would want to tell. And I think maybe in the last 1 or 2 years, they're getting to that point that is quite consistent, and now we're building on top of that. So I think we are exactly in the beginning of that journey, and really developing it to becoming that solid brand presence and understanding. And when you look at it, you're like, oh, this is August, right? So this is where my dream is. I think when you see it and you relate to it.
Do you still do your Instagram?
No.
You need more holidays.
To be honest, I stopped doing I'm moving to London, so this was my Instagram and blog. I think I had a lot of creative expression through it. But when COVID hit, I was actually stuck in Switzerland. I know, very, very random.
To be in that time?
Was it cold?
Very expensive.
So I was I was in Geneva, and I mean, I don't know. I never vibed with Switzerland. I
was going to say, what do we think about it? But I didn't vibe either.
Interesting.
I'm sorry for everyone listening from Switzerland.
Sorry. But I mean, I couldn't wait to just come back to London. Sorry, Switzerland. But I was there, so I just think my content was always very connected to what I was experiencing and doing, was very authentic, at least to me. And I just felt in that moment I couldn't really tell an authentic story that connected to I'm moving to London, because I wasn't there. And it just kind of, I just let it go. It's still there. I just don't post.
You don't post.
Question on the luxury side, because we work with a few luxury clients, and what we're finding is, we either have to chat to them really, softly about social media and whether or not it's the right thing for a luxury product. You see brands like Prada and all these big brands now, they're on TikTok, etc., but they're kind of doing more ads. What do you think about, the channels for, I mean, a lot of them say we just don't do paid, we don't push it. Like Chanel just doesn't do any paid push. So what do you think about social media and content because hotels, it's kind of happening, but yours is obviously very luxury, premium, a different product. What do you think about it and the future it's going? Like, people want UGC content. It's not like you're going to have someone who's in the house and then they're doing a video and they probably want a private experience, right? So what do you think?
Well, it's a balance, right? And I think it's a very political answer as well. It's a balance. I'm a believer in social, and I think social has a role to play in the journey, but it has to be done right. So one of the things when it comes to luxury, you can jump on every trend and just be a part of it. I think going back to, that brand identity, I think you just need to have that. You have to have a very clear vision what your brand is and how it's represented across the channels, and then work with what's kind of connecting to that vision. Because otherwise, I think some brands, to your point, I think in retail, they're getting at a little bit of a mix and match approach. Try this, maybe not try that. And I think there are very few brands that I feel truly nail social, because I think some of them are quite scared. Some of them are maybe a bit too experiential when it, comes to it. So I am a believer.
It's a tricky one, isn't it?
But
Yeah.
I think you have to be. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, search trends are really changing. Even if you think about it, you have to produce content for social.
Yeah.
But it has to align with your brand. So you need to do
Right.
the work before that to understand what is your brand? Like, how are you talking about it on the different channels? Because the way you represent it on TikTok is not the same that you would on Instagram or, Facebook, let's say, if you're still
Exactly,
using
yeah.
that and so
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So there is a lot about that, is defining those content pillars, that expression of the brand across the different channels.
Yeah.
And I don't actually, I'm not a believer of doing content for one and just replicating it to the others. I think each one
Yeah,
needs
I
to-
agree. They have their own
Yeah,
purpose each channel.
Exactly.
Okay.